This is the first crappy day we've had in a minute. I don't know if you can see the windows around me, but it's raining. It's raining like a motherfucker. And it's chilly. It's like raincoat. Probably could have put on a winter coat. But it's 40 degrees. It ain't going to freeze. Ain't going to really probably snow. So, can't be mad. Can't be mad. What they say? March showers. So it could be a lot worse. The temperature could drop a lot faster, and it's not. It's gonna stay about like this. So I know. Talked to my brother in Michigan. They had some inclement weather. I know down in Texas they had tornadoes and stuff. So not too bad. Just some rain, some light rain. So I mean, steady. It's been raining. Last night was riding home, had the vent open, and told myself when I got home because I knew it was gonna rain, close the vent. Apparently, I didn't. So I've got like rain all around me. I've got rain all around me. And so I had to find something to sit on. What's keeping my butt dry is not very comfortable. It's like stabbing me in my back, but that's okay. The Fed rate, what, 50%? 50 points? Ooh. I don't know if that's going to make prices go down. Gold, I want to say gold hit 2000 Friday, or maybe even on the international market. And today it's still hovering at 1920. Silver's about 2480, 2490 when I left. Again, most stocks is up. Nike did well. But Nike's been pretty consistent if you really follow Nike stocks. Hey Lobo, what's happening, man? So if you follow Nike, Nike's done pretty well. Despite having a plane crash, I think a Delta plane crash, the airline still went up. 10-year yield or 30-year yield? Both of them seem like they were in the positives. Hard, I didn't write everything down. But gold, again, gold is still over 1900. I want to trade a little thought. Hey, Derek, give a little thought on a person that said was buying golden eagles better than trading pandas, better than trading what is the Philharmonic, Canadians, Australian gold. And I guess basically what they were saying was they didn't feel that you could trade gold eagles around the world. I think that's a bit silly. I think that's a bit naive. I don't like his main thing was what he wasn't seeing as trading. But there are many of us that's gonna never go anywhere. It fuck the rest of the world. So it's gonna trade in America. So that premise that if you save gold eagles, that it's some kind of way you couldn't trade them around the world because you ain't seeing them in other places, I think is bullshit for most people. Because a lot of people collect the golden eagles that ain't gonna never go nowhere. And I don't mean travel, but basically in the United States and the territories, especially trading. And again, like his premise was if things got really bad and turned really gray. Well, if things got bad, how many motherfuckers is going to China or going somewhere? It's like I'm living here in Minnesota and things got bad here. Wars came in Minnesota. It is no way you could consider me as holding American eagles like they wouldn't trade for food, petroleum. I mean, it's just I don't. And then the person that spread that premise, I was kind of like, she's a big Bitcoin person. So I don't know. Brother Bomber did a show today. Didn't really watch it, and I might be leaking too. I don't know. No, I think this is all from earlier. But golly, it got me. Got me when I sat down. You know, you sit down. But I'm glad I wore the rain jacket because the rain jacket is definitely what was due. I'm gonna wear a sweater when I go out later. We're celebrating somebody today, so I don't know if y'all got Texas roadhouses. What's funny is like I live way south of the Twin Cities, so the other one is north of the Twin Cities. So that shit's about 50 minutes away. I mean, again, you can go pretty much an hour in almost every direction and pretty much be in the Twin Cities the way they do it. Again, they go way up to about an hour away from me. You can take the train that far north, and then they're about to finish the train coming down here, well, up to Eden Prairie, and then they're about to do a train going to St. Cloud, which is because there's people that drive that far. to come to work in the Twin Cities area, depending, where they hit. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that financial considerations. That's all. Because through those, I mean, that's just, most people have 401ks and stuff. And so you got to look at like what 401ks are they involved in? What choices are you getting? And that's just being an intelligent investor. And most people put money into jewelry. So, like get gold and wear silver because of how it's going to activate the gold. So, you wear a combination, even copper, you wear things that are really going to physically do something or spiritually do something for you all the time. Now, I know colors of the day and stuff. I mean, that is a temporary push, but the metals seem to have a more lasting effect of how they're going to physically and spiritually help you. Again, wearing copper is such a healing element. I don't think people realize that. And you wear silver for the point of silver is going to take anything else you wear, everything else that you have, even yourself, quantum, and it's going to make everything vibrate the highest for you. These clothes, everything. Silver is going to look at everything from how they start, because that's how certain things are hexed. They're hexed from on top. Silver can go under. Silver can go under this stuff and say, okay, this is what we're pushing out. This is how we're going to push this negative out and make this positive come of what you are, everything that you have on you. So that's the benefit of wearing silver. No, it doesn't really trade as heavily unless you get the bars, which are very, again, come in a crisis society. Silver will trade for food. Silver will trade for heating oil or gas. Silver will trade for those. So those, you have to look at those kind of considerations. That's why like things like dry beans, those are things that have a long shelf life. For the most part, even peanut butter, honey, they have a pretty long shelf life. But again, people forget, if you even had 2,000-3,000 cans, you would go through them so quickly if that was the only thing you could eat. Interesting thing, I don't know if people watch the movie about the train, Snowpiercer. They showed where a chick kept herself alive without food or water with just certain kind of suspended animation or suspended almost like life support drugs. Like she had a type of life support drugs that she used that kept her alive without food and water for 6 months. And I thought it was clever that they would show something like that. Hey, Brother Edward, what's happening? Yeah, a protective occult tool. Oh, definitely is. Like right now, I only eat the only kind of utensils I eat off of is silver plate. But I do have several spoons that are silver. So, and as I've said before, my goal is to just eat off plates and just have spoons of silver with all what I drink being treated with shungite. I'm gonna buy some more shungite too. Plants. A lot of people in the spring put plants. Almost all my plants have shungite in them. Like, as I told the story how I bought the new potters. Well, I had them already, and I just bought them in the house. And I think my plants got a little impatient with me, and my plant got the cat to knock it down, so I would be forced to repot them. And I mean, that's literally what happened is the cat who never fuck with the plant, just out of the blue, jumps on this motherfucker and knocks it down. Hasn't touched the plant since. But it knocked the plant down. But I put shungite in both plants, and now I bought a new one the other day. And it was interesting getting the new plant, and I knocked it down like once. I put it somewhere where it was sitting, and then it was like, bloop, okay. I had to redo it, sweep up all the damn dirt, fertilizer and shit. But that's a way to filter your own environment, to put cleaner air in your own environment. I think, as I said before, I'm allergic to when my plants clean the environment. I think I'm allergic to that because I tend to have sneezing fits. And I think that's what it is. I mean, there's more mold because I do live within 5 miles of a lake. If not even that. I probably live 2 miles, not even that. I probably live within a mile of the lake. Yeah, because right now I'm not even a mile away from the lake. And my apartment is closer than where I am now. And now I'm not even a mile away. Matter of fact, there's another lake to my south that I know ain't a mile away. And that's a completely different lake, but I'm really close to that lake. Yeah, that lake is like behind these buildings right here. That lake is just within walking distance, damn near. There's another lake. This lake, it's a nice little walk from here, but it's not terribly far. But it's a lot of mold in this area because mold, the restrictions, if you live in the city, would be less than what it is because we live around this water. Hey, Bbrown. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is like last spring's Tommy shit, you know. Yeah, this is like you found a lot of this pattern last spring. So it was interesting to see what the new Tommy like jackets like this are. A lot of them solid, I noticed. I saw a Michael Kors jacket for about $50, but it had the hoodie. Like I already got 2 rain jackets, so I didn't see the point of getting one just because it had a hoodie. You know, you get one of these hats that's more, you know, the wintry hats. Keep the rain off you. But thank you. That's kind of you to say. Very kind of you to say. But just a raincoat, that's all. So it just takes, you know, being a responsible dad. It's a lot that can go into that. So just bringing up some of these strategies. That's all. Again, this is positive message for positive fathers and just all fathers. Even if you're struggling, just little things that don't trigger you, but trigger you in a positive thing. I guess that's what I'm here, is to trigger people in a more positive vibe of just being fathers and being men. You know, you ain't got to just be a father, because just be a man. I mean, if you're an uncle, you're a cousin, I mean, you know, it's eyes on you on how you move just being a man. And yeah, we all make certain mistakes, but at one point you just have to show people that you're a man all the time. And where there's no question about that, do you carry yourself? And that ain't got nothing to do with being rich, being poor. All that has to do with is being a positive outlook on the ones around you. And that's a wealth in itself, where people look at you as a protector, people look at you for information, and people look for you, you know, to be protected and for comfort. You know, that's a positive thing where people look at you like that. It's like my son, when I'm not there and he's there for an extended period of time by himself, he gets scared. And this nigga's 6'7", 6'6.5", 250, 260. You know, he want to go get the guns and have the guns around him and shit. He be like, he just doesn't like that. But when I'm there, he has that sense of he already knows that I'm no nonsense. You know, I'm no nonsense when it comes to that. He would have no doubt that given anything, I would react quickly and positively and win. You know, but having a lifetime of always feeling protected. You know, having a lifetime of always feeling that. You know, when he was little, we lived at one place, and we went to a concert. It was down here, and we went to a concert. He didn't want to go. And I mean, we was going literally all day. We left about 2-3 o'clock. We didn't get back till about midnight. And I remember going into his room after his sleep and just seeing all my kitchen knives and shit, all the steak knives, like he had them piled in the room. So I guess he wasn't gonna have no problem stabbing somebody. Oh, but when I came home from going to Arkansas, and I came in, he gave my gun back. I was like, oh, okay, I left it off the safe. So he's like, well, and I kind of figured as much knowing him. So I left it. Of course, I loaded, but where he could have access to it, because I know how he is. I was gone. He's not used to me being gone, so he's just a scaredy cat. But yeah, he had all the knives. And, you know, I bring up these different subjects for just, as I say, ways to trigger you to relax too, because it's a lot of pressure. I mean, young men, like like Nick brought up an interesting thing, like he said, create a boo. And I sent that to my ex because her man, but I'll say this about her man, and I don't really know him very well, but he hustles. I mean, he is like a dude who got several jobs, you know, and really works himself to exhaustion almost. He has other children, and I'm sure he has types of child support, but he works himself hard. And you know, I don't look at that as a bad thing. So I don't look at that part as a bad thing. I look at her and what she's trying to build, and she's building a boo. It's interesting, and I guess like even men, we have to have certain boundaries too. Like even fathers pursuing women. Like I had a woman get mad at me because I like put my schedule around what my daughter had to do, and it was a night where we were supposed to do something, but it was like I did not know when my daughter was going home, so I did not know. It was like her mother was working, so it was kind of a fluid situation, and I saw immediately that this person couldn't be fluid, because with children and you have all these other parents, you have to deal with people that are fluid, because when you still have younger children, and again she's 10, you still have to have a kind of fluid how your time is mattered, because you never know when you're needed. And so this person was rigid, so I couldn't deal with a rigid person. So I was like, yeah, you know, we can't deal with each other, because if you can't be fluid in the moment, whereas parenting takes that sometimes, and you know, and this person had children. I mean, her children were quite a bit older, but she was slightly older than me. So I was like, yeah, I mean, we can't deal with each other. We can't deal with each other, because if you can't be fluid in just understanding how time moves and just time together. So, and I never make any promises to people. I mean, what is a promise? You know, really, what is a promise to anyone? Hey, Mr. Lamborghini Leg Lock, what's happening? Oh, let me get him in here. What's happening? And that's another part, is like, do you promise people? But really, what is a promise? Like my son will say, and my son did the breakdown of why dudes will say on my mama, you know, the George Floyd, on my mama, man, on my mama, you know, that crackhead move to get crack credit, you know, neighborhood crack credit. But the promise is the same thing. You know, my son did a perfect breakdown of why people would say on their mama, because a lot of young men are just raised with their mother, and the mother is, in their idea, is the most sacred, the most divine, instead of just your word or your bond of promise, you know. And it's a very, very, it's not hard to be consistent, but at certain times it's hard to promise certain kind of things. Now, because especially when you're saying something where there's a part of it that's not under your control, why set yourself up for that trap? Because that's what a trap can be. A promise can also be a trap, where you trap yourself and you become devalued in other people's eyes. Oh, yeah. And so that's a trap. So look at those type of traps as don't fall for it. Try to communicate it that you will be dependable in another type of way. I think is what I look at is, instead of having to say these words that, and the same can be for you. You can promise something, you already know the outcome. So you can use it as a trap as well. Because if you're already holding the trump, you're like, yeah, I can promise that shit because I know I'm about to drop it down. So consider that as well, you know, as you consider being dependable. That's all. It's like some people, you know, women say that, you know, they've had issues and now I'm strong. Well, man is looked at as you always got to be strong. And that's the thing, you know, that's why I always say, you know, the thing I learned in college, you got to fight even though you want to cry. That's a man. That's a man. That's a man. You know, you cutting a million pieces and you still fighting. That's why I love the idea of the hero twin. You know, motherfucker get his head cut off, where they two more hearts in your body so you can still move. It ain't, they cut the head off, that don't mean shit. And just showing you the significance of the brain, the hero twin shows you, I'll just put a pumpkin up there and this motherfucker can still operate because he got two more hearts that's operating. And I don't think, hey, Lorenzo, what's happening? I'm only going to go about 10 more minutes because she about to be out here. And so, you know, that's what you got to remember too. The only brain ain't up here. You got two other brains. And each really looking at all your organs is, you know, they was once separate. You know, you can look at every organ and find, as I talked about this book, that there's these drawings where this motherfucker went around the world and drew this shit. There's almost everything inside of her body once seemed to existed in some type of sea creature. I mean, separately, not like part of the whales. No, this shit was separate by itself. He drew a picture of some shit that's just lungs that was once alive as a creature. So you see how we got a lot of this stuff, again, still brains. Like what they say, octopus got all these multiple brains. Tentacles got all these multiple brains. So we know that we can exist with multiple brains. So, the atomic bomb that's in your heart. And it's funny, Quantum of Science was saying he saw a full moon in the daylight. I remember back in 19 seeing that same shit where me and my son was riding, and it's my now soon to be 21-year-old son. And I was like, that shit shouldn't exist. He said, yeah, it really shouldn't exist. Where it's like 8, 9 o'clock and we seeing like a big full moon. Yeah, it definitely shouldn't exist. Not the way that it was explained. And if you researched it, that shouldn't have existed, but yet there it was. Name of James Levet. He's found on article where the government is putting the vaccine in our fruits and vegetables, so we'll get it either way. Yeah. I mean, I was given a tetanus shot, and shit hurt me for a week. So what was it said? They said that second shit is that shit. So, I haven't taken anything called that, but I took the shingle shit maybe in 20 because at my age, and I already got nerve issues, and that's all I need is worse nerve issues. So that shit made sense. But my tetanus shot, I had never had a tetanus shot that hurt for so long. So yeah, it's I would say it's like somebody put up the shit about the birds, saying birds don't exist, that birds is all mechanical, that birds all work for the Matrix. I know that is not real because I have experienced myself as a bird. So like I didn't have I wasn't a drone. I was a motherfucking real eagle. So, and I watched 2 eagles where some shit was dead. And I noticed today it was a nest near where these motherfuckers was. And I mean, again, these are giant ass birds. And I saw some crow picking at it, and the 2 eagles was sitting in the tree just looking down, and that must have been their kill. And I don't know if they couldn't lift it at all. I'm guessing some of it fell, and they was about to go back down and get that shit. I wish I'd have pulled over because it was the white-haired eagles. But so yeah, I mean it's so many ways that we can be bombarded whatever they want to bombard us with. I mean, technically they can hit us with the sound that this chemical could be. I mean, they really could put the mathematical equation to sound and put this chemical in you through sound. So I mean, none of that is impossible. So we are always hit. As I said, one thing I like, they call it tendinitis. No, I can tell when the frequency changes around me. As I said, back in October, maybe November, I heard one night, I was like, what the fuck is that? I heard where the frequency around me was artificially changed. Because I was like, what is this? I'm looking outside and I'm trying to figure out where is this coming from? All of a sudden, that constant zzz was dramatically changed. I mean, dramatically changed. Like it wasn't even zzz, it was like doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. And I'm like, what could change it like that? And I'm saying something that if you didn't pay attention to, you wouldn't hear. But it was something there that dramatically went from zzz to doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. So what did that? I caught it again the other night. And I'm like, what can do that? So I think Jody, look up Jody's stuff. And Jody was saying that, they can kind of turn up or change some type of sound attacks. I know Awakened One, she always sending me the Awakened One. She's always sending me things, showing me stuff like that, where we can get these attacks that the Nazis was practicing. I mean, remember the Nazis was practicing that shit. So, hey, Dread, how you doing? Hey, thank you for the kind words. And the same to you. Peace be unto you. So you can't, out of hand, look at a lot of this where it's not a point because it could be easily done. And again, one of the best things in the world is eating watermelon seeds. And hardly exists. Grapes. I mean, there's generations of y'all don't know watermelons with seeds in it or grapes with seeds in it. It's a generation of y'all that don't know either ever with seeds. Where just, that was the funnest part of eating watermelon was the seeds. Like as a child, I don't remember anybody saying, well, damn, like these seeds is in the way. As a child, I don't ever remember hearing that. I don't ever remember hearing anyone saying that watermelon seeds was in the way. I mean, with those that was in the know, you fucking kept that shit. Like pumpkin seeds, people cook and eat pumpkin seeds. And then pumpkins got 1 million seeds, way more than a watermelon would have. So I don't know, like, who came up with saying we don't need the watermelon seeds. Same with grapes. Like even now, they can't, the cherries got a big pit in them. A pit is a seed. There she is. That's Jody. Yeah, I think Jody did the work on the sound and how they can attack you with sound. If I'm misquoting you, you can say, or saying about your work, please step in. Oh, Jody's here. Let me say this deep shit. Like, I'm running out of shit legit, so I got to buy some more. And I'll say sometimes I forget that the shit is like, how do I want to put this? That I can do the shit. I do forget sometimes that I can get into this shit and get deep. And, it's like really, sometimes when you meditate, it's almost like pages with a book almost. It's like, oh, okay. Or even scrolling through Facebook. It's very much like that. So you'll start seeing this shit and you'll start scrolling. And I hit upon the thar shit. I hit into it. And I was like, And I know this may sound odd, but I can't really explain it any other way. Like, I follow a lot of Bollywood people stuff on Facebook. I think Indian women are very beautiful. Now, they ain't all of them, but it's some Indian women from India and it's a certain part of India. But it's just like, I find them very beautiful, so I just follow some of that. That had to be what I zarred through. That had to be what I zarred through was one of their eyes. Because all of a sudden, I'm in motherfucking India, and I am looking out of like the eyes of Laura Marsh. Those of you look that movie up. That is, or being John Malkovich, it's the same kind of way. They're trying to show you how to possess a motherfucker and, how you would handle the shit. John Malkovich is probably the best because it shows a positive way. But I'm like, I had to be one of these chicks because I'm in India and I'm like I'm in a home and I'm looking at all the writings and all the furniture and I'm looking out the window. I'm like, damn. And I'm thinking, because I really didn't get it. I had to think about it today. Like, how the fuck, why was I seeing India? Then it hit me today. I was like, okay. I was in one of them chicks. That was the only way to explain it. I was like, I had to be in one of them chicks. I had to be. So I opened the door where one of them, and I was able to get into that consciousness. And so, yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And the she legit, it really makes things so much clearer. I don't know any other way to explain what it will do for you through meditations and the sounds and the clearness of the meditation. She legit adds. I'll say that's what it does. It adds. It gives it's almost like, and I know a lot of y'all ain't gonna be able to relate to this, but well, I guess now you can still get the Obama antennas. You can get the Obama antennas that still connect you to digital free TV. And it's almost like how you got to put that motherfucker somewhere. The old days, you had the static knob. And I know a lot of people don't remember the static knob. So the old days, there was a knob that was called the static knob. Radios had it too. Old radios had it. Where you had a knob, like a tuning knob. A lot of people call it a static knob. But it was like a tuner. It was like a tuner you kept tuning till the channel came in. And that's what she legit will give you. It will give you the clearness of the channel, like the static or the tuner knob. It will give you that for sure. All right, there goes my daughter. That is her. She's pointing at her. That's her. Seedless watermelon is such an oxymoron. How does it take for she legit to work? I've been thinking of trying it. I'll say this. I'll say like you can get a month supply, and you can get they say 5 months supply. I don't think it's 5 months. I don't think it lasted me for 5 months. I'll say the 5 month supply might last you 3 months. The 30-day supply will last you for 30 days. But after about 3 weeks, and you got to take this shit consistently. You got to take this stuff consistently. And you can get, like, the best deal is really to get the drops, but it's $70 for the drops. But I say within 3 weeks, and meditating, you will start seeing a difference in the clearness. And again, I guess the best way to gauge it is just gauge how your visions come in now, so you have a comparison. And then that'll give you another understanding of how to bring it in. It'll show you what it's doing for you. I guess it's the best way to gauge that or to explain it. But for some, it may even work quicker. And what it is it comes from the same area as the salt lamps. It comes from the Himalayan areas. It's just a different mineral than the salt, but it comes from the same lands where they find Himalayan salt. They find she legit. So it's exclusive. Yeah, we're talking. Give me a second. I'm gonna drive to the house. I know. And so, you know, I'm about to go. We got some stuff to do. We got some shit to talk about, some moves to make. It's her Mother's Day to enjoy her day. So, yeah. So, I'm not going to be on tonight. Possibly it'll be on this time tomorrow, but I'll definitely will be on tomorrow night. Wednesday night will be my first night back of the week. So thank everybody. So yeah, Joe, it'll take you probably 2-3 weeks. You could see a difference sooner though. It's a bitter, and I'll explain this, and I'll end with this. It's like I'll tell you a way to gauge that's a lot cheaper is get 100% chocolate, because 100% chocolate, you know, the shit that's damn near cocoa. You know, it's really cocoa, but to get it in the chocolate bar form, 100% chocolate, I normally can find 95%. It's that same type of bitter. And through that bitter, the bitter does help with the clearness too. So that's a cheaper alternative is you switch to chocolate, but get the 95% chocolate, not the American sugar chocolate. You know, milk chocolate is just mostly sugar. Get the original chocolate how it's meant to be, how the original Americans saw it. So, well. Hey, Lorenzo, thank you, brother. So look for me tomorrow afternoon. I think it's supposed to rain again. If not, I would definitely be on tomorrow night, Central Time, midnight. So this has been the Responsible Daddy Hour. Till we meet again, say less.